All right, everyone. Welcome to the orientation to our first ever Faculty of Arts SHRC Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters Application Workshops. There's a mouthful. My name is Jared Wesley. I'm the Associate Dean of Graduate Studies here at the University of Alberta Faculty of Arts. Today's session is just going to introduce you to what we will be doing over the course of the next few months to best position you for success in the SHRC Canada Graduate Masters competition, which I'll explain timelines in a moment, actually tends to sneak up on you more than the end of summer sometimes. The goal of these workshops collectively is to position you to write the research proposal part of your grant application or your scholarship application, which is really the most important part. I am not an expert at all in the technicalities of the SHRC portal, for example, and all of the technicalities that involve eligibility and transcripts and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to defer you to the experts over in Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, or GPS, to field those answers because they have all of that information. And if you have problems with the SHRC portal or any kind of technical bits, we're going to have you address those directly with SHRC because we tried to help troubleshoot in the past, and oftentimes we find we just get in the way, and it's a lot easier and quicker to sort out those technical bits. But as I said before, the most important part of these scholarship applications is the research proposal, which is what we want to spend our time talking a bit about today, and then more fulsomely in the October 25th workshop. So I'm just going to start by talking a bit about why SHRC is important. It's required for one thing, but for a lot of you in your letters of admission, but also it's important for career advancement, and some of the technical skills in grant writing that you'll pick up along the way are also valuable regardless of what career path you choose. I'll talk a little bit about eligibility and timelines. I'll peel back the curtain a bit about the process involved in adjudicating these SHRC scholarship applications. We're going to talk about the main components, and then I'm going to introduce you to a couple of worksheets that we're going to have you complete in advance of the October 25th workshop. Now, we're doing this workshop for master's students. We have a separate one that's actually running tomorrow, an all-day workshop for doctoral students. But they do cover many of the same elements. So if you have questions and you're in the wrong room right now, that's okay. We'll probably be able to answer them if you're a doctoral student as well. So why is it important to apply for SHRC? Well, first of all, it is required for a lot of you in your letters of admission that if you're eligible to apply for SHRC grants, that you do. These are Canada's premier scholarships for graduate students in the social sciences, humanities, arts, fine arts, and performing arts. Earlier this year, the Government of Canada finally increased the amount of the awards to $27,000 a year for up to 12 months. That number increases to $40,000 per year for PhD students, which I recognize doesn't sound like a lot. It sounds like more, though, if you take into account that awards are tax-free. So I know for a lot of you that will help to make a difference in making your studies a lot more affordable. The rule in academia here in Canada is that it takes a SHRC to get a SHRC. So if you're thinking about a career path that involves, eventually becoming a professor, then having these awards on your transcript, or sorry, on your CV or resume early on demonstrates your capacity to win bigger grants down the road. The skills that you'll pick up in these workshops are also very important for writing grants, both in academia and outside. So you'll find that some of the practical tools that we provide will be of use in that sense as well. If you're wondering why the Faculty of Arts has an interest in you gaining these awards, obviously we wish you the best. We want all of our students to succeed and to be able to literally put a roof over your head and food on your table. It also impacts our ability to recruit graduate students in the future. The way that SHRC awards are set up across the country, the more SHRC awards that a university earns from year to year, the more they get in following years. So the more of you that secure these awards, the more of future yous will be eligible for them here at the University of Alberta. In terms of eligibility, there are more details available online, and I'll be providing you with an email after today's session that will provide you with direct links to this information. But if you are a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or a PP, then you are eligible. If you are taking your master's studies in social sciences, humanities, broadly defined, and that includes performing arts and fine arts, then you're eligible. There has to be some autonomous research component to your degree program. For master's thesis-based students, this is met by the thesis. If you're in a course-based program, this is something you'll want to take up with your graduate director. That's the faculty member that's responsible for your graduate programs, just to verify that the capstone project that you have involved in your course-based master's is eligible. Most of them are, but it's always good to check. You can't hold any other Tri-Council Canada graduate scholarships. There's other two Tri-Council agencies, these beyond SSHRC or the Social Science Humanities Research Council, are NSERC, which is the natural sciences side, and CIHR, which are those funds that are available to medical researchers. You have to have a first class average over the previous 2 years. Most of you, if you're in graduate school now, will have had to meet that criteria. But if you're on the bubble and you're not quite sure, then best to check with graduate and postdoctoral studies for that. And lastly, you can't have completed more than 12 months in your current program because you're eligible for only 12 months worth of funding. In terms of the timelines that are involved in the adjudication process, these are different from the SSHRC doctoral awards. So it's important when you're looking for information online that you're looking at the master's information and not the doctoral awards. We're going to ask you, and I'll give you more information about this in just a moment, to complete a worksheet and an algorithm, which is a series of 12 sentences, by October the 1st, and to submit those to our team here so we can best prepare you for the Faculty of Arts workshop, which is a day-long in-person session on October 25th that will be held on campus here in the Torrey building. You will have then until December the 1st to submit your formal application through the SSHRC portal. I have an asterisk next to that because SSHRC has not confirmed yet that that's the deadline. Because of a lot of changes with the scholarship programs this year, they haven't confirmed these deadlines. It won't be any earlier than that. But I also put an asterisk there because it's always good to submit early. SSHRC, for whatever reason, is not great at maintaining its digital infrastructure. And for some reason, the system is either unavailable or downright crashes around these deadlines. So it's always important to try to get your information in as soon as you can. Once those are submitted, graduate and postdoctoral studies will go through all of the U Alberta applications, make sure that folks are eligible, forward names on to the federal government, and then you will hear back in April as to whether you are successful in securing a grant, which you can take up beginning in the following fall semester. So for those of you that are in your undergraduate programs, great time to apply. For those of you that are in thesis-based programs, it's a good time too, but keep in mind you can only hold the grant for a maximum of 12 months. The process involved, in fact, all of the application itself has to take place through the SSHRC portal. I provided a QR code there. I will also, again, be emailing you these links afterwards. But if you want to have a look at it, you can use another device to look it up. What you need to do with this SSHRC portal is to go in and create a new account if you don't already have one. There's a bunch of form field questions that help you to set up your SSHRC CV, which include, where have you done your undergraduate education? Do you have any work experience? Those kinds of things. You'll then enter your application by answering a bunch of different questions in a standard form. You'll be asked to upload documents, including transcripts from all of the post-secondary institutions that you've attended. You're able, once you have all of that information loaded into the system, to download what they call your portfolio, which is your complete application. That will allow you to do some proofreading, which we'll talk about in the workshop, but also to circulate it to your referees. These are people that are going to be providing letters of reference for you so that they can see your entire application and make sure that they're commenting on the stronger parts of it. And lastly, you'll have to hit the submit button once everything is in order through the SSHRC portal, again, in and around December the 1st. The main application components, you'll need to secure all official transcripts from all post-secondary institutions that you have attended. There's more information available in the links that I'll provide afterwards in the email, but make sure that you are ordering official transcripts. You can't assume that the University of Alberta has your transcripts. We can't use those ones. You have to order new ones, and they all have to be up to date. We will be focusing our October 25th workshop on the research proposal. Again, this is the main part of your application that talks about who you are and what it is you intend to study. You're also allowed, as part of this application, to submit a bibliography of sources that you cite in your research proposal. You make some comments. If you have any research contributions that you've made to this point in your career, it's not often expected at the master's level that you'll have conference presentations or journal articles. So don't worry if you don't have them, but there is an opportunity for you to talk about that if you do have them. You'll have to make a statement about your own experience and your activities that we'll talk about in the workshop. Really tells your story, why you are a perfect fit for the program that you're in, and why you are the ideal person to conduct the type of research that you're proposing to do. There are some special initiatives that the Government of Canada sponsors through this program. So, for example, they have a special SSHRC master's stream for applicants who identify as Black, but there are also others that are reserved for specific types of scholarship to do with international relations, for example, and other activities. So you'll have an opportunity to speak about how your research fits within those parameters. And then you'll be asked to upload the contact information for your two referees. Those are the folks that are going to be writing letters of reference. So just as a heads up, that once you upload that information, your referees will receive an email from SSHRC, and then they will submit their letters of reference directly in through the SSHRC system, so that you don't have to handle those. They won't be mailing them to you. They won't be emailing them to me or anybody else here at the university. They go straight in through the SSHRC. So that's a setup of the SSHRC program itself. What we're going to try to do before October 25th session is to hit the ground running, really. And to do this, we're going to ask you to do the following. And again, I will send you an email with the proper links afterwards. You're going to need to set up your SSHRC account in the portal. You're going to need to make sure that you order your official transcripts from all the post-secondary institutions that you've attended. You're going to need to give some thought to who your two referees are going to be. And then I'm going to ask you to fill out two short worksheets. One that we're going to call a worksheet. The second one we're going to call an algorithm. I'll explain both of those in just a moment. Once you have all of that done, then you will go to the registration form that's found at this QR code. And again, the direct link will be available in the email. So let's talk a bit about these two assignments that you're going to need to complete before October the 1st. You submit those to us, and as you'll see, it'll help us to prepare the workshop to best suit the needs of the folks that are going to be in the room. So the worksheet itself will require you to identify what your research problem is that you're looking to address through your scholarship application, what contributions you're going to make, what are the main citations or key authors or scholars that are in the field that you're going to want to make sure that you incorporate, any theoretical frameworks that you're going to draw on, the overall societal impact of your research, which is becoming increasingly more important when it comes to social sciences and humanities research in Canada, how feasible your research is to complete within the confines of your program. And this includes, are you at the right place with the right people surrounding you? Do you have the right requisite experience, or are you going to get it through your degree program, and so on? And lastly, your capability, your personal capability in actually completing this work. So again, you can see this in the QR code available there, but I'll provide you with a direct link to a form fillable Word document. You just simply go into the cells in the table and input all of this information. It's important here in bullet point form. This is not intended to be an essay style exercise. We just want you to do what some folks call a brain dump into the worksheet of all of the components that you think are going to be important to eventually work their way into your proposal. This worksheet is a great first step in crafting that ultimate that ultimate proposal. The second exercise that we're going to have you complete before October 1st is what we call an algorithm. And Heather Young-Leslie is a fabulous researcher here at the University of Alberta who has actually studied successful grant and scholarship applications. So she has turned her analytical lens toward these applications to figure out what is the common recipe for success. What does a successful grant or scholarship application look like? And she has boiled it down to a series of 10 to 12 statements, which you'll find when you go to download the algorithm form available online. So these are the types of questions that you're going to need to, or the types of statements that you're going to need to make. So you'll, for example, start with we, and then you'll identify whether it's academia you're writing on behalf of, the government, and so on. We have a question or a problem or a false perception that needs to be answered, solved, or corrected. What you'll do is simply choose the right words in those square brackets or italicized and finish that statement. You'll go through and you'll do the next statement. It is compelling, or it's timely, or it's pressing because, and then you'll fill in the blank. And again, we want you to keep these to single sentence responses. We are not asking you to draft your research proposal at this stage. Heather's work demonstrates that if you can boil down your research proposal into these 10 to 12 statements, you're fit for success when it comes to actually drafting the proposal itself. So combine the worksheet. Once you've completed that, will help you to complete this algorithm, and then you'll submit both of them into the system so that we can have a look at it. Some of you may think that we're slow tracking you here. We're not having you dive in and draft your one page, because what we found is students will go off and draft their one page proposal and end up having to redraft it once they receive some of the advice that you'll get at our October 25th session. And there we're going to be, at the workshop, we're going to be talking about how to frame your research problem, how to refine your research question, how to make sure that your research question is matched up with your methods and your theory. But we need these two initial exercises to be complete so that you've started stimulating your thinking, but so that we know who's going to be in the room and what kinds of activities and exercises we can complete. So again, you're going to need to do all of these things, which are going to be specified in an email I'll send to you shortly after this morning's orientation session. So that is the system in a nutshell. That's what we're going to be completing between now and the end of October. Once all of that is done, you'll be off to draft your one-page proposal. We'll ask you to work with each other as peers, but also work with your supervisors and your grad directors for support to draft that final proposal by the December 1st deadline. So with that, I'm just going to close off the recording, and then I'll open it up to questions from everyone.